Anyway, let me set this up for you. So Time Life won the bidding. CBS lost out. But what CBS was allowed to do was send one of their guys to give a rendering of what happened on the tape. He was able to look at the video, and then he was able to tell the public what he saw. Okay? The name of that guy was Dan freaking Rather. Yeah, you know him because he made a deal with the devil and was able to prosper as a result of it. And that's the only reason you know his name to this day, because he was put in a position of success after he told this big ass lie to the American public about what happened on the video. So I'm going to play that for you guys right now. What he said happened on this videotape. Now, this is the kind of thing that an agent of the Matrix will do. He wants to keep you blind and tell you lies to make you think things that are not true. So I'm going to pull up a video of how Dan Rather described what happened on the Zapruder film. Okay, so this is Dan Rather, November. Let me load it up. Okay, so this is how Dan Rather.
The films we saw were taken by
how Dan Rather described what he saw on the Zapruder film. Now, let me further set it up for you. Dan Rather had the assurance. The reason why he was comfortable saying this bull crap to you because he had the assurance that no one would ever see the Zapruder film because Time Life bought the rights to it. Okay, let me play it.
An amateur photographer who had a particularly good vantage point just past the building from which the fatal shot was fired. The films show President Kennedy's open black limousine making a left turn off Houston Street onto Elm Street on the fringe of downtown Dallas. A left turn made just below the window in which the assassin was waiting. About 35 yards past the very base of the building, just below the window, President Kennedy could be seen to put his right hand up to the side of his head to either brush back his hair or perhaps rub his eyebrow. President Kennedy was sitting on the same side of the car as the building from which the shot came. Mrs. Kennedy was by his side in the jump seat in front of him. Mrs. Connolly and Governor Connolly on the same side of the car as the president, and in the front seat, 2 Secret Service men.
Okay, so I just want to let you know that was the first lie. He didn't put his hand up to his head. He put his hands towards his throat because he had just been shot from the front through his throat by a gunman. But he says he put his hand up to the side of his head because one of the lies of the Warren Commission was that the throat wound was an exit wound from the back. So they had to kind of lie about that. So sorry about that. Let me continue.
Just as the president put that right hand up to the side of his head,
bullshit,
you could see him lurch forward. The first shot had hit him. Mrs. Kennedy was looking in another direction and apparently didn't see or sense that first shot or didn't hear it. But Governor Connolly in the seat in front appeared to have heard it, or at least sensed that something was wrong. The governor's coat was open. He reached back in this fashion, exposing his white shirt front to the assassin's window. He reached back as if to offer aid or ask the president something. At that moment, a shot clearly hit the governor in the front, and he fell back in the seat. Mrs. Connolly immediately threw herself over him in a protective position. In the next instant, with this time Mrs. Kennedy apparently looking on. A second shot, the third total shot, hit the president's head. His head could be seen to move violently forward. And Mrs. Kennedy stood up immediately. The president leaned over her way. It appeared that he might have brushed her legs. Mrs. Kennedy then literally went on the top of the trunk of the Lincoln car, put practically her whole body on the trunk. It appeared she might have been on her all fours there, reaching out for the Secret Service man, the lone Secret Service man who was riding on the bumper of the car, the back bumper on Mrs. Kennedy's side. The Secret Service man leaned forward and put his hands on Mrs. Kennedy's shoulder to push her back into the car. She was in some danger, it appeared, of rolling off or falling off. When we described this before, there was some question about what we meant by Mrs. Kennedy being on the trunk of the car. Only she knows, but it appeared that she was trying desperately to get the Secret Service man's attention, or perhaps to help pull him into the car. The car never stopped, it never paused. In the front seat, a Secret Service man was on the telephone. The car picked up speed and disappeared beneath an underpass.
Okay. So that was his rendering of what happened on that day. A bunch of bullshit. Okay? But he had to lie so that the single gunman theory could be perpetuated. Okay? Now, let me give you guys a real view of what happened on the Zapruder film. What Rather said was that the president put his one hand to the side of his head, right? Not to his neck. And the bottom line is he said he was hit and his head went violently forward. And he said that the vehicle didn't stop. All right. Now, why is that important? It's important because in order to justify a single gunman, you have to have had the shot come from the back, which is a school book depository, when everybody heard the gunshots come from the grassy knoll and pointed over there. So you had to have the first person in the media who gave you an idea of what happened. He had to lie his ass off to tell the population of America the bullshit that the CIA wanted him to tell. Okay? So this is what actually happened. Okay, so this is going to be what actually happened. Dan Rather, the first media person to tell people, the media person's supposed to tell you the truth and what happens, right? First media person to talk about what happened, the assassination, and the video that he saw. Supposed to tell us the truth. Well, he said that Kennedy had put one hand up to his face, and ultimately he said that he got hit and his head went violently forward, basically kind of like indicating that he got shot from the back. Okay. And then he said the limo didn't stop. So basically he had to say what the CIA told him to say. But like I said, he had assurances that no one would ever see the video because Time Life and Henry Luce, the skull and bones friend of Prescott Bush, told him that no one would ever see this tape. Right? Time Life Media Organization, you would think this is the most important video evidence of anything ever in the history of mankind. They would show it to people. But no. So anyway, let me play what actually happened for you. Okay? So here's the video. The car is coming down, and I hope you can see that he's about to put two hands up to his neck when he gets shot the first time. Okay? And then he gets hit violently backwards to the left, back and to the left. But he told everybody, and then he said the car didn't slow down. So you guys saw the car slow down. Okay? Let's see it. I mean, I know it's gruesome. I'm sorry, guys. But he puts his hands up to his neck, two hands. Okay. He gets hit violently back. Car slows down. He said the car never slowed down because he had to say that because the Secret Service was absolutely in on it, and then sped away. So why am I highlighting this guy as an agent of the Matrix? Because he's full of shit, and I am disgusted at the humanity in this person because he is supposed to tell you the truth, and he traded his humanity and his integrity to lie to you guys, to lie to America about what actually happened with respect to the assassination, the vast conspiracy that it was, in order to get a career in the news. And the reason I wanted to get this out is because he's probably going to die pretty soon. And I want people to know what a scumbag he is for lying to us about what actually happened. Now, one more bit of information, okay? That happened November 22nd, 1963. Kennedy was shot. Do you know when the American public saw the Zapruder film? Right? You would think Time Life bought it. They would probably see it 2 or 3 days, right? They would show it to the public, the most important evidentiary video footage ever. The American public did not see this video until 1975. Why? Well, because a guy named, his last name was Bob Roden, worked in the film department. And he was told Abraham Zapruder's family was going to get a copy of the film for posterity. So he was told to clean this video up. Well, just like everybody else in America, he was told that Kennedy's head went violently forward, and he believed the story. And then he saw the film and he was freaked out and dismayed. So he made copies of this video, and he debuted it on the Geraldo Rivera show as soon as he can make copies and clean it up for the American public to see. That's the only way the American public was able to see this video. And it's probably the only reason why, the biggest reason, let me say, why we know for certain that the Kennedy assassination was a humongous conspiracy, because we got video evidence. And that's why after 75, all of these Senate committee hearings came out. There was the Church Committee, there was the House Committee on Assassinations, and the Rockefeller Committee. Now, the Rockefeller Committee is involved in the CIA. Their money is directly involved in the CIA. So their commission was useless and BS. The Church Committee, however, got a lot of information that we wouldn't have had before. And the House Select Committee was a little compromised, but the Church Committee was not fucking around.